Hello everyone, I welcome you all to my YouTube channel. So in this video we will be studying about one of the very important processes of the water treatment in environmental engineering, which is called as coagulation. And mostly coagulation is done using alum. Alum is the most widely used coagulant in water treatment process, and we will be discussing very briefly the theory of coagulation, the formulas that will be used, and then we will be taking up two very good quality numericals. One I have extracted from one standard book that will cover the complete theory of this coagulation. With that numerical you will be able to grasp the complete process of coagulation in detail. And one question I have taken from, I guess that is from the previous year exam. No, that is also from standard book, but that is somewhat similar to one asked in the previous year gate question. So we'll be taking up two numericals and theory as well in the video. So please stay tuned and watch the video till the end. So first of all, let us discuss about the theory. See, this is the chemical formula for alum. It is basically, alum is basically aluminium sulfate and with 18 H2O molecules that are structurally bonded. And then this is the basic alkalinity that is present in water. What happens in the process of coagulation? The alkalinity reacts with the alum and the alkalinity gets bigger size because of the coagulation, and then it gets turned into a precipitate and it settles. The smaller size particles which are difficult to settle in the sedimentation tank, what do we do for those particles? We add a coagulant. Coagulant has a property to get adsorbed on the surface of these molecules. When they get adsorbed on the surface, they become heavy because of the specific gravity of the coagulant, and because of their density increases, the particles tend to coagulate at the bottom of the sedimentation tank. So this process is called as coagulation. Along with the process of coagulation, another process called as flocculation also goes on, which we will discuss in some different video. But for the time being, let us carry on with the topic of coagulation only. So this is the equation basically. When alum reacts with alkalinity, it gets turned into aluminium hydroxide precipitate. Now see, after we balance the equation, we find that 1 mole of alum requires 3 mole of alkalinity to react, and it results into 2 moles of aluminium hydroxide as a precipitate. Now 666 gram is the molecular weight of the alum. After you put on the values of individual molecular weights of the elements like aluminium, sulfur, oxygen, hydrogen, and then again oxygen, you will get 666 gram as the molecular weight of alum. Similarly for CaHCO3 whole twice, that is called as alkalinity in our case. In this particular case, what happens? 162 gram is the molecular weight of the CaHCO3 whole twice. So this is the molecular weight. But what will be the given weight? That means the actual mass of this particular alkalinity present, that will be 3 multiplied by 162, since 3 is the number of moles, and we know by the formula number of moles equals to given mass divided by molar mass. So molar mass is given as 162 and number of moles is given as 3. So the given mass will be equal to 486 gram for the alkalinity. Similarly for this case, 78 gram is the molecular weight of aluminum hydroxide, and multiplied by 2 will give you the actual weight present, that is 156 gram. Now see, the questions that will be asked will be somewhat related to what is the weight of the sludge, or how much milligram per liter will be the precipitate formed, how much milligram per liter is alkalinity is required. See, now as you can see that 666 gram of alum will result into 156 gram of precipitate. Now how much will 1 gram alum turn into precipitate? 666 gram alum gives 156 gram precipitate. So 1 gram alum will give 156 divided by 666, this much gram of precipitate. Similarly 1 milligram will give same, but turn this gram into milligram, the numbers will remain same. 1 milligram per liter will give 1 milligram per liter. So 1 milligram per liter alum will give 0.234 milligram per liter of precipitate. Now suppose in the question examiner asks you that we have given a dose of 20 milligram per liter of alum in the coagulation chamber. Now what will be the amount of precipitate that will be needed to dispose of? So simply you just have to multiply this 20 with 0.234, because 1 milligram per liter gives this much precipitate, so 20 milligram per liter will give 20 multiplied by 0.234 milligram of precipitate. Now you have the precipitate, that means the amount that will be settled at the bottom of tank. Now if I ask you in milligram per day or kilogram per day, then you simply have to multiply it by liters per day with the discharge. By multiplying this value with the discharge, you will get the amount, the weight per day that is needed to dispose of. I hope this point is clear to you. Now similarly, apart from the precipitate part, another question that examiner can ask you is about the alkalinity. Now see, 666 gram of alum requires 486 gram of alkalinity. Definitely it can be seen from the equation. So 1 milligram per liter of alum will require 486 divided by 666, that means 0.72 milligram per liter of alkalinity. But this alkalinity is in terms of CaHCO3 whole twice. But in the industry, in the environmental industry, we measure alkalinity and several other terms in terms of CaCO3. Because CaCO3 has a molar mass of 100 grams, and because of which it is very easy to do the calculations. So the examiner may ask you that what is the alkalinity needed in terms of CaHCO3 whole twice, or it can ask you what is the alkalinity needed in terms of CaCO3. So we should know that 1 milligram per liter of alum will require how much alkalinity in terms of CaCO3. So let us calculate that. For that, you should know the formulas for equivalent weight and gram equivalent. I hope you all are aware of that. Equivalent weight can be calculated by molar mass or molecular weight divided by valency. Similarly, gram equivalent can be calculated by given weight divided by the equivalent weight, or the given mass divided by the equivalent mass. Gram equivalence is also called as the number of equivalents. So I hope these two formulas are clear to you. Now let us turn this alkalinity in terms of CaCO3. So basically what we can do, this 666 will be common because this is the mass of alum. We need to convert this 486 grams in terms of CaCO3. I hope you all get this. So first of all, what we can do is, we can convert this CaHCO3 whole twice into its equivalent weight. So what will be the equivalent weight of CaHCO3 whole twice? The equivalent weight will be 162 gram is the molar mass or the molecular weight. We will not count 3 into this because 3 will, multiplying by 3 will give us the given weight, not the molecular weight. The molecular weight of this particular molecule or this particular element is 162. Now you have to divide this by the valency. What is the valency? When we break it into ions, then it will give Ca2 positive and HCO3 2 negative, so molecular weight is 2. So this will turn into 81. Now you have to convert this into gram equivalent or the number of equivalents. So how can you do this? By 486 is the given weight divided by the equivalent weight divided by 81. So this will result into 6. Now this is the number of equivalents. So this number of equivalents of CaHCO3 whole twice is equal to the number of equivalents of CaCO3. Now to get the given weight of CaCO3, you have to multiply this 6 by the equivalent weight of CaCO3. What is the equivalent weight of CaCO3? It is 100 divided by 2. 100 is the molecular weight of CaCO3 and 2 is the valency. So this will come out to be 300 milligram per liter. Now you can find the alkalinity required in terms of CaCO3. So it will be as simple as 300 divided by 666. So this will come out to be 0.45 milligram per liter as CaCO3. I hope this point is clear to you. Now whenever the examiner will ask you, you need not do all the calculations that I just did. You just remember the end results. That is, this is the alkalinity for 1 milligram per liter of alum as CaCO3. This is the alkalinity as CaHCO3 whole twice, and this is the final precipitate that will be coagulated in the sedimentation tank. One more objective question that can be asked from this particular topic is, what is the working range of alum? Working pH range of alum. So let me tell you that alum is effective, it is most effective when the pH ranges between 5.8 to 6.5. So basically this is the acidic range. So alum works best in the acidic range. I hope this point is clear to you. Now without any delay, let's get back to our numerical question. I hope the theory is clear to you. If you have any doubts regarding the theory, then you can ask in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe the channel. So the question says that a coagulation treatment plant with a flow of 0.5 meter cube per second is dosed with alum at 23 milligram per liter, and raw water suspended solid concentration is 37 milligram per liter, and effluent solid concentration is 12 milligram per liter. Sludge content is 1%, specific gravity of solids is 3.01. You are asked to calculate the volume of sludge, not the solids, to be disposed of per day from the treatment plant. I will explain you the question very effectively, just hold on for a minute. See, this is suppose the coagulation chamber. This is the discharge that we are sending to the coagulation chamber, and it is equal to 0.5 meter cube per second. What is the suspended solid concentration here? 37 milligram per liter. This is the amount of solids that are present in this particular water. After we send this discharge into the coagulation treatment plant and adding alum at 23 milligram per liter dosage, we get the output discharge of the same amount. The discharge won't change, we are not extracting the water, but the suspended solid concentration will change, and it will be 12 milligram per liter. What does this mean? This means that 37 minus 12 milligram per liter is settled at the bottom, and because of the coagulation, this much solids have been settled and removed. So 37 minus 12, this will give you 25 milligram per liter. So this is the amount of solids that have been disposed of from this particular discharge. They are settled at the bottom of tank, so they will contribute to the sludge. Initially, now 25 milligram per liter is in terms of solids. They are solids, they are not sludge, they are solids. You have to convert this solids into sludge. I will tell you how can you convert. But now what can we do with 25 milligram per liter? We can calculate it in terms of kilogram per day by multiplying it by 0.5 into 1000 liter per second. So this will give the answer in milligram per second. By multiplying it by 60 into 24, you can get the answer in kilogram per day. So this will turn out to be 1080 kilogram per day. So this is one part of the solid. But I told you that alum also gives some amount of precipitate as AlOH whole thrice. This will come out of itself. Alum से आएगा वो precipitate. ये तो इसमें ऑलरेडी प्रेजेंट है, बट जो प्रेसिपिटेट है वो एलम के रिएक्शन के बाद आता है. सो दिस विल ऑल्सो बी एडेड टू द एलम प्रेसिपिटेट. सो हाउ मच प्रेसिपिटेट विल बी जनरेटेड? आई टोल्ड यू 1 milligram per liter of alum gives 0.234 milligram per liter of precipitate. So we are dosing 23 milligram per liter. So 23 milligram per liter will give 23 multiplied by 0.234 milligram per liter of precipitate. Again, this precipitate is in the form of solids. This is not sludge. We will convert this solid plus water into sludge. Solids plus water result in sludge. Initially they are solid. This is solid and this is also solid. So when you will solve this, it will come out to be 5.382 milligram per liter. Now you can again convert this milligram per liter into kilogram per day by multiplying it with the discharge value. So this will turn out to be 232.5024 kilogram per day. So this is because of the precipitate generated, and this particular kilogram per day is because of the suspended solids that are settled in the tank because of the coagulation. So these are two values that we got. We can add them and we can get the total amount of solids that will be generated because of the process of coagulation. So we can add 1080 and 232.5084. So total solids will come out to be 1312.5024 kilogram per day. This is the solids. But we need to find first of all the value of sludge in kilogram per day or meter cube per day. Basically the question is asking meter cube per day. But अगर हम किलोग्राम पर डे को मीटर क्यूब पर डे में तो कन्वर्ट कर ही लेंगे. So this is solids. Now there is one statement given to you that sludge content is equal to 1%. What does this mean? Remember, this statement will come very often in environmental engineering and you should interpret what does this mean. This means that 1 kg of solid plus 99 kg of water will give 100 kg of sludge. Similarly, 99% moisture content also means this. That means 99 kg of water and 1 kg of solid will give 100 kg of sludge. So basically this is the equation that is indirectly given to you in the question. Now you have the kilogram per day of solids. So 1 kilogram of solid, multiply this by 1312. So 1312.5024 kilogram of solid plus, similarly when you are multiplying this here, you have to multiply this here as well as here. So 1312.5024 multiply 99 kg of water, and this will give you 100 multiply 1312.5024 kg of sludge. You have to determine this is one part of sludge, this is another part of sludge, this is the total weight of sludge. When you will add this, you will get this particular value. So if you divide this by the density, then you will get the volume of solids. What is the density of the solid? It is given as 3.01 is the specific gravity. So multiply it by 1000. So this is 1000 kilogram per meter cube, and this is in kilogram per day. Similarly, this is in kilogram per day, this is in kilogram per day. So divide this by the density of water, because this is water, so 1000 kilogram per meter cube. So this part and this part is the sludge. We do not know the density of this sludge. We know the density of solids, we know the density of water. So this will give you volume 1, this will give you volume 2. Volume 1 plus volume 2 will give you the volume of sludge. So when you will divide this, it will come out to be 0.436 meter cube per day. Similarly, when you will divide this, this will give you 129.93 meter cube per day. We don't have the density for sludge. Otherwise, we would have directly divided the sludge by the density. We have the density for solids and we know the density of water. Water is a universal liquid. So when you will add this, you will get 130.37 meter cube per day. This is what it is asked in the question. Per day, how much is the volume of sludge to be disposed of? If the question would have asked you per year, then you would have multiplied this by 365. If the question would have demanded per second or per hour, then you would have made the changes accordingly. So I hope this question is clear to you, and the question was a very unique question and it covered the complete variety of this particular part. Now moving on to the next question for the coagulation. The question says that sedimentation plant clarifies 40 mld of water. Calculate the quantity of filter alum and quicklime required if 85% pure per year by the plant. If dose of alum for treatment is 18 mg per liter and raw water is having an alkalinity of 5 mg per liter as CaCO3. So you know that what is given in the question is that the lime is 85% pure. Next part is the question has also given you that the alum is applied as 18 milligram per liter and the water is having an alkalinity of 5 milligram per liter as CaCO3. See, the alkalinity is measured in terms of CaCO3. So the derivation that we did in the initial part of the video is quite useful in this particular question. Now you know that 1 milligram per liter of alum will require 0.45 milligram per liter alkalinity as CaCO3. This we know from our derivation. This is the end result of the derivation that we did in the video. 18 milligram per liter of alum will require 18 multiplied by 0.45. That means 8.1 milligram per liter as CaCO3. So this is the alkalinity that is required, but we have only 5 milligram per liter of alkalinity. That means we require 3.1 milligram per liter of alkalinity as CaCO3 more. This is missing in our particular tank, so we need to add this alkalinity. From where this alkalinity will come? This alkalinity will come from quicklime. When we pass the quicklime to carbon dioxide, it will give CaCO3. This is the process by which we generate the alkalinity. So this is why quicklime is given in the question, and this quicklime is 85% pure. Now see, this is of 56 grams and this is of 100 grams. The weight of this does not matter at all. Does not matter. 56 gram of lime can give you 100 gram of alkalinity. That means 1 gram of lime can give you 100 divided by 50. Sorry, we have to calculate in terms of alkalinity. 100 gram of alkalinity requires 56 gram of lime. 1 milligram of alkalinity will require 0.56 milligram of lime or CaO. But we require 3.1 milligram per liter of lime. Similarly, per liter, this will be also per liter. If this is in gram per liter, this will be in gram per liter. So 3.1 milligram per liter is required. So for 3.1 milligram per liter, how much is the lime required? Simply 0.56 multiplied by 3.1. So this will give you 1.736 milligram per liter of lime CaO. But the lime is 85% pure. That means this lime will be equal to 0.85. So for 100% purity, it will be 1.736 divided by 0.85. So this will come out to be 2.042 milligram per liter. So this is the amount of pure lime that is required. This was the amount of impure lime. This was for 85%. If the lime would be pure, you require 1.736 divided by 0.85. Now you can turn this milligram per liter into kilogram per year by multiplying it with the discharge. The discharge is given as 40 mld. So multiply it by 40 into 10 to the power 6 liters per day. This will give in milligram per day. You can convert it into kilogram per day, and finally you can convert it into kilogram per year, because the question is demanding you the value in terms of kilogram per year. So when you will solve this, you will get the value of 29818.35 kilogram per year of pure lime. This is pure. The question is asking you the pure lime. You have the available lime as 85% pure. So to get the purity, to get the actual level, you should add some more lime, because the lime that you will add is 85% pure. But to get the same effective value, you need to add some more lime, because the lime you used is 85% pure only. I hope you get the complete concept of coagulation. Thank you everyone.